Ahem. Compañero. 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 I'm gonna I'm gonna go to translate Google. Translate Google compañero. Compañero.
Compañero.
Compañero.
Compañero.
Compañero. Is that you? I don't know.
Compañero.
Compañero. Compañero. Anyway. Compañero. I need your chemistry notes. My notes? Are you sick or something? It's me, the one who always steals your notes. Yeah, because Oz is usually well, he doesn't seem like it, but he's usually the smart one. I mean, borrow them, yeah. Gonna give them to me or not? I can't be the only one who's noticed Oz's personality change. He's been like this all week, ever since that meeting with the committee. Any good friend would be worried and wouldn't ask him what's wrong or how he's feeling. Thank God that I'm not one of those people. You're a bad friend, Kieran. I have a slight idea of what thoughts he could be harboring, and I'm pretty sure it's stupid. But I'm getting annoyed by all of his sighing. I guess I'll risk it and ask him about it. It's none of my business, but what's wrong with you? You aren't the most fit to ask that, Kier. Well, everyone has their bad days. I almost ran out of the empty pages in my notebook, and I'll have to buy a new one soon, for example. Those 5 minutes it takes me to go to the arts and crafts stores to buy a new one are always terrible. You have to talk to human beings, wait in line, stuff like that. Are you comparing shopping at an arts and crafts stores with my issues, compañero? You've no heart. It's all your fault. What have I done now? Don't tell me that you're still bothered by what happened with Claire. Don't you see? You've broken the invisible wall that divides the truth from lies. Now nothing can stop my libido from controlling my mind. And what happened to your bar on the beach, if I may ask? We're facing eviction because we built it in a protected area. Those ecologists won't stop at it until they have our heads chopped off. So you've been thinking about it, and now you're punishing yourself because being attracted to someone with the body of a little girl doesn't change the fact that you're attracted to little girls. Oh boy. Maybe it'd be easier if you paid attention to something that isn't a physical trait. I don't know, her personality, for example. Berko, what? Why do I even bother? You don't get it, compañero. It's not just that. We're supposed to be a duo, right? I'm the handsome, elegant, dandy one, and you... Well, you're... Well, you. Me what? Finish that. Suddenly, there are a lot of girls surrounding you. Where does that leave me? I don't know, quarterback? You're so funny. I'm serious. Oh, that's never been an issue for you. All the cute girls in the world belong to you, isn't that your motto? You're right about that, compañero. As you know, I'm a free spirit who's able to adapt to any situation. What I'm interested in is your opinion. Are you gonna take responsibility? Unlike you, I don't have a magnet embedded in my pelvis. That so many women have suddenly appeared in my life doesn't mean anything. Just that I might be a harem protagonist, maybe? I don't know. Love is a two-way street, Care. It's like that regardless of if you're on the receiving or giving end, even when there's indifference. I hope you don't think you have to adjust yourself to anyone else's preferences, even if it's hard because no one really knows their own preferences. So if I end up admitting that I like little girls, then I shall accept it, and you should do the same. No, that's the wrong conclusion. In short, you want someone to tell you that you're not a sexual predator that should be sent to jail. That's not all, but please, don't tell me that I'm not a monster. Can we have a little experiment to test it out? You're always talking about hotties, but you never mention where you draw the line for women to fit into that group. Well, as long as they fulfill the minimum requirements, their origins, height, weight, race, and cup size don't matter. Although the cup size is a plus. And what's the minimum? I don't know, a minimum. Who has the right to define the features that make a woman an angel? You could consider a sixth sense of mine. But there must be a limit, and I've come up with a way to test it out. We can start with some obvious features and move on from there. Listen to me carefully, okay? You have to imagine your perfect woman, understand? Your ideal girl, but let's change some of the details about her. You have to tell me if even after those changes you're still attracted to her or not, so we can move on from there. My ideal woman? Maybe someone like Ziva, I guess. Terrible taste, but I'm not the one to intervene. Let's start with something easy if you feel up to it. Imagine your ideal woman, but she's missing an eye. She wears an eye patch. Would you still like her? Big boss? Which eye are we talking about? Left or right? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Of course it matters. That way I know which cheek I can steal a kiss from without her noticing. Give me a second. Gotta puke. You probably think you sound like a Casanova or something. And if instead of an eye patch, it's a lazy eye. You know, one of the ones that look everywhere except where it should. A good excuse for me to get lost in her gaze. If you keep it up with those type of answers, I'm out. You're just jealous of my poetic talent. The word you're looking for is ashamed. And what do you think about an unstable girl? Just like your ideal woman, but she's bipolar. 2 is always better than 1. Being with her would be like a threesome. Think about what? As if you ever thought in your own entire life. Then what if she's deaf mute, for example? Less talk and more love. What's wrong with that? What about a blind one? You can see the important things with your heart. Burn. If she had half of her body burned, I'm sure you wouldn't be able to handle it. Katawa shoujo? She would burn anyways in the fire of my passion. No arms. We're really going to Katawa shoujo territory. Easier to hug. No legs. She wouldn't even need them when I can carry her bridal style all the time. Besides, legs are an inconvenient obstacle for... Enough! Don't need to hear about that. What's wrong with you? You don't care in the slightest about people's conditions or what? It could be Mrs. Potato Head changing her body parts and you still wouldn't mind. Hey, you're the one who's in love with plastic figures. As long as they're alive, it's fine with me. I'm starting to doubt that. Well, if it was a zombie girl, I can't say that I wouldn't. Zombie girls? There's an anime about a zombie girl. Was it Korea? Something like that. Well, it was a manga and an anime. It was okay. It was a decent anime. I don't know. Anyway. What? Why are you looking at me like that? While I ponder about on which distant planet my respect for this man resides upon, Ziva enters the classroom quite excitedly. As soon as she sees us, she comes over with her usual greeting. Hello, how are my favorite guys? Well, we were just talking about you, Ziva. I'm pretty sure that dingus here is lying, so to prove him wrong, I have to gouge one of your eyes out. You don't mind, right? Wait, what do you mean? Gouge one of my eyes out? What? What are you gonna do with that pen? I was thinking about drawing an eye patch on your face, considering I don't have a real one, but if you prefer that I really do gouge your eye out, then we can do that. Not a step closer. You're exhibiting symptoms of severe psychosis. Stop before... As I try to grab hold of Ziva, she trips over a table situated behind her and falls on top of it. How I gotta do that? Cornered, I grab both of her wrists, and with one of my hands and with the other, I remove the cap of the pen. What are you doing, Kieran? Stop. Right now, we could try and see how you look without legs. I'll start marking the cuts, just like a surgeon. Stop! Stop! Don't go putting anything down there. It hurts. Don't do it on me. No! This is really... From an outsider, that's a really awkward situation. Oh, even for context, you shouldn't be doing this, Karen. This is horrible. Come on, stop complaining. This couldn't possibly hurt. It's not that big at all. I don't care, what? Where are you looking? Oh. I should have guessed with the bad luck I've been having lately, but as I follow Ziva's eyes, I find the new substitute teacher astoundedly watching us from the doorway. Yes. Oh my, let me guess. You came running when you heard Ziva screaming. Don't go putting anything down there, right? The frightened teacher nods. Let me tell you something. It's exactly what it looks like. Oh no. That's not true. Don't make it worse. They aren't gonna believe me anyways. This way it's more original and unexpected. Let's have some fun. You know, you should... I mean... Well, I don't know. How old is Edion? He's 18, right? So, I mean, he could go for jail like this. Or rather, he could go to jail for this. Yeah, that's what I said. Anyway. Seriously, Edion. Seriously? I mean, I guess, well, Ziva will vouch for him, I guess, because they're friends. But... that kind of misunderstanding could really could get you in trouble. I don't know. After another one of our usual incidents, we enjoy a free hour between classes during which we must spend time, quote-unquote, studying. Ziva takes the opportunity to get closer to me, sitting directly in front of me and dropping her books on my desk. If your idea is to actually study, you're heading in the wrong direction. The one with good grades is us. What's wrong with you guys today, thinking I'm some kind of model student? Or rather, well, I thought, I read, well, I do little like variations of voices. I read that as Ziva, but actually it's Karen. Even though probably no one can tell that I'm making voices. Anyway, if your idea is to actually study, you're heading the wrong direction. One of the good guys asked, what's wrong with you guys? They think I'm some kind of model student. That was Karen. I don't know why sometimes I just mix it up, I guess. You know precisely why I'm here, Edion. Are you still mad about before? You know I love teasing you, so I wasn't gonna do anything. Well, nothing lethal, at least. Mad? Quite the opposite. You showed an proximal attitude that I've never seen before. It's amazing progress. I think I'm closer to a diagnosis now. I'm starting to believe that you're the one in need of a psychologist. First it was the vegan thing, and now it turns out that you're a masochist too. I shouldn't have seen that coming. What do you mean? I'm not a masochist, and those have nothing to do with the other. Since when was being hungry fun? You see? They're totally related. A total masochist. God damn it, Karen. I've told you a million times that... Forget it. I know that you're only trying to annoy me. Annoy you? It's just your imagination. I'm the traveling oasis, the shoulder to cry on for the dying man. Right before you got here, I was helping Oz get through his hardest times yet. What kind of problems can Oz have anyways? Something about his role and taste in women. I remember him saying something about perky things, but nothing else. You aren't even trying to sound interested. He may not take us seriously because of how lively he normally is, but you shouldn't take people's issues in love so lightly. I said perky things, not love issues. They may belong to the same category depending on the situation, but not in this case. Edion, the concept of romanticism can vary from one person to the next. Each is free to love in their own way, no matter how loutish they may be in the process. You aren't taking into consideration the amount of victims they can leave behind. Come on, don't exaggerate. Deep down, Oz is actually wonderful in his own way. Anyone who's with him will surely be lucky. Yeah, everything is happiness and rainbows until someone gets hurt. Aren't you surprised, or aren't you supposed to be super busy preparing 1,000 things for graduation parties? That's what you've been telling us all week. Don't try to change the subject. All the grab plans are under control. I'll assign more work as it comes. Let's get back to what concerns me. Why would anyone get hurt? You know, we're talking about us. Everything ends badly with him. You know, like the hedgehog dilemma. It may be really cute, but you can't get close without being poked. Oz is one of those people who's mostly concerned only with himself and doesn't realize how big his spines are. I don't mean that in a bad way, it's just that you're giving him too much credit. Someone who's mostly concerned with himself. Sounds familiar, Karen. I don't know. But this way, it's more interesting if they manage to finish the puzzle, don't you think? Puzzle? No, the opposite's contraposition. Contraposition? I've never seen that word before. Contraposition. The anima and animus shiziji. Nani? I don't know those terms. Anima and animus shiziji. Shiziji? Shiziji. Let's go to translate Google again. What is that? How do you say that word? Shiziji. Shiziji. Shiziji? Syzygy. Syzygy, apparently. I don't know what that is, though. Oh, whatever. Where each term represents the true unconscious of women and men, respectively. Or the true unconscious? The true unconsciousness? Or untrue unconscious? I don't know. Well, we shouldn't take the gendered part of it too seriously nowadays. It's mostly a way to exemplify it, of course. Or you're gonna start one of those boring speeches, right? That's not true, it's really interesting. You must consider it a part of our collective unconsciousness. I mean, like a part of us that we absorb from the outside without realizing it. Ziva taps on my desk with her index finger 3 times before pausing. She takes a second to think and rolls her eyes until she finally decides how to proceed. Well, one way of looking at it is if you started in a vacuum, on a blank canvas. Your possibilities there are infinite. You can fill that vacuum any way you want, however you have to choose. Decide what is the most important to you and what isn't. Basically, find something to love. But how do you know what to love? Every single action in the world creates a contrary and incomprehensible part of us that tells us that which we wish to possess. The target of our affections is forged deep inside of us without our consent, as intangible as our very soul, but more real than it. We only realize it when it becomes large enough that we must sacrifice those infinite possibilities we were given at the beginning to follow after that new direction. Although it's normal in the beginning to not really know what it is that you desire, which once again makes the target inside of us change. Living on to our next chance, ripening until we choose to fall in love again. And when the animus inside of you finally finds its corresponding anima, the pieces of your puzzle will fit together. When the spines of 2 hedgehogs perfectly fit between each other harmlessly. Using my previous metaphor, Ziva. With a frisky wink, Ziva ends her lecture, attributing herself a new victory. Well, I rest my chin on the palm of my hand, displeased with how I always end up having to put up with her insufferable chattering. Why, my whole life has been a lie. I thought that animus was those Japanese cartoons. No, it's anime. Anime, that's anime. Can you ever take anything that I say seriously at all? Your spines are too long, so I'm scared. Please understand. If you say so, Idiom, then it must be true. The bell signifies study hours end. All of my classmates start picking up their belongings and getting ready for the next lesson. Ziva is no exception. With her arms full of textbooks, Ziva closes her eyes and tries to remember an important quote, one she knows with extreme precision. Where love rules, there is no will to power, and where love predominates, love is lacking. The one is the shadow of the other. Power and control over the possibilities of your future go hand in hand with your feelings. You can't separate your freedom from how you feel about others. It's an unescapable inevitability. It's during the syzygy culmination that one can't do anything but choose. I want to believe that's why it was named the syzygy. It's not a word of psychological origin, you know. After cleaning up, Ziva takes the rest of her books under her arm. Yeah, I know. Syzygy is a astronomical term. Really. Exactly, smart guy. Sometimes I think you know everything. Well, I didn't know that, so I must be a dumb guy. Well, Midian, see you later. Ziva says goodbye with her usual grace, turning away from me to sit at her desk. Meanwhile, I lean against my chair, close my eyes, and hope for some peace and quiet after the exhausting food for thought that Ziva had tossed at me. Syzygy. How could I not know about that? The doors to the library are open. It took you forever. For a second, I was worried that you would never get here. Then I realized that nothing of value would be lost if you suddenly disappeared, so I forgot about it. Ah ha ha ha. I guess that's an impression of Luce. Every afternoon after walking through the doorway, that woman greets me with one of her insults, normally meeting my delayed arrivals with sarcasm. We promise to meet in the library every day, and I do always fulfill my promises, but nothing is stopping me from taking it easy. Although she'd complain and attack every little flaw that I have, I always have the feeling that she was actually happy to work with me within these walls. Aren't you happy too? That's why I'm not surprised not to find her here today. As I wait for her, I fall asleep. When I wake up, I'm surrounded by a specific type of silence that only a library could create. On the other side of the window, the sun descends in height and temperature, declaring to the world that it's time to go home. But Luce still isn't here. I don't mind if she's tired of our daily collaborations, but I start to worry that maybe something worse has actually happened. And when you feed your mind with different possibilities, the worst always comes first. Maybe she did come? Maybe she got tired of waiting and decided to go explore the building and had an accident in one of the more dangerous parts of the complex. This building was never finished. There's a huge section that's in ruins. It wouldn't be that absurd taking into account the terrible condition of this place. My eyes gaze down the hallway. I considered checking the building before returning home just in case, despite the qualms I have about it. Well, you didn't get her phone number, Karen? You should have done that. It's probably a good idea. No, it's too late now. After all, how long has it been since I last set foot in that place? The first thing I focus my attention on is the dusty marble floor. With no footprints on it, you can pretty much see the lack of visitors these past few years. The doors raise a cloud of dust every time they're open, and behind them, I only find forgotten rooms whose furnishings have turned pale over time. My search is fruitless, soothing the weight on my shoulders at the same time as I condemn the uselessness of my worries. There's one last room to check. I stand in front of its door, giving it a sideways glance for a few seconds before deciding whether or not to enter it. Oh, it's the piano again. We saw this in the very beginning. It's the music room. Inside, I only find an odd blackboard with a soft vestige of musical notes drawn between the lines of a pentagram on it. There's also some disorganized chairs and tables scattered carelessly around the rickety room. And a modest upright piano set in the center of the room that had long ago culminated in the sounds of apprentices, professionals, and their instruments. I take a seat in front of it, uncovering the two-colored roll that makes up the keyboard. Unexpectedly, my fingers began to move on their own as they searched for the keys. The first thing that comes to my mind is the melody. Hey, Giovanni Macaroni, where are you? Or, that's what I thought until the shouts of a certain missing someone make me return to reality. Why, what are you doing here? Luz picks her head out from the entrance, checking her surroundings before entering. Well, I've been looking for you. Where have you been? I told you a million times already how dangerous it is to go into this building. Oh, here, there, nothing important. I got here just now, and when I saw the door to the hallway open, I thought you were around here, so I came to take a look. I didn't know that you can play piano. You ever full of surprises, McPizza? I replied to her as I stand up and make my way over to the entrance. I can't play. My fingers aren't good enough for any instrument, it seems. Not to mention that this heap of junk must be totally out of tune by now. Luz blocks the path to the doorway with both a penetrating stare and voice. Then what were you trying to do, if I may ask? I sigh and answer while I gesture for her to get out of the way. Well, the same thing that some untalented girl does when she tries to draw. Luz smiles, moving aside to allow me to pass. You should be more polite to that lady, Calzone. She's quite talented. I'll keep that in mind after she decides to call me by my name. And what's the deal with Italian food names today? Oh, nothing, I'm just hungry. A giggle echoes within the deserted hallways as we return to the library, cheering me up about the unfounded worries I had suffered this very afternoon. Well, Karen was actually worried about Luz though, so... I mean, as sarcastic as he is, as, I guess, hostile their relationship is, or as it seems like, probably care about each other, you know? Well, do you know what time it is? I was about to leave. Come on, it's always you that's running late. I had some stuff to do today, so I was a bit late myself, but nothing too bad. A bit? I like to know what had you so busy that made 3 hours seem to only be a bit late. If I could tell you, I wouldn't have to call it stuff. What happened to that philosophy of yours about sharing secrets? Are you gonna tell me that some are more valuable than others? Secrets are as valuable as your determination to protect them. You know what's not a secret? That I'm going home. It's late, and your stomach is already growling. We don't have electricity, and you can't see anything once it's dark outside, so it's not like there's anything else to do. You're leaving already? I at least like to see if you progress yet, and I can show you some of my drawings. Look at the spot you usually sit at. It takes a second for Luz to understand, but once she realizes it, she finds a plastic folder with some sheets of paper inside of it. Oh, it's the second chapter. You told me that you didn't even start on it. Or you didn't even start it. It's not like I was especially inspired, but I managed to write something. You can tell me what you think later. Pretty sure it's gonna be dense and pretentious like the first chapter. If you're gonna be like that, then give it back. I never said that was a bad thing. Also, if you've been waiting all day to show it to me, then you must mean you wrote it lovingly. I couldn't care less. I told you that I was about to leave. But you didn't, and that means something. Now I just need to show me the story that you used to win the writing contest. The one you never want to talk about. How the hell do you know about that? I have my sources. What did you think? Okay, this conversation is over. See ya. Oh my. I'm going with you, so don't get angry. It's easy to make you upset and I can't resist, you know? Then tell me who told you that. It's a lot more fun if you try to solve the mystery on your own, isn't it? That's why I'm looking to you. I've already told you that I figured out what you meant when you said that writing's a necessity for you. If my opinion counts, you can take all the time in the world. How about I review to you my sources, and in exchange you show me the story you wrote for the writing competition that you won. I'd rather find the culprit by myself than indulge you any longer. You can read the story and then refuse to tell me who the source is. I can't trust you at all. As you wish. I'll leave the offer open in case you get tired of searching. You aren't the only one who fulfills their promises, so have some faith in me. Just so you know, I don't believe that two people can be truly friends until they share a promise. I thought it was a secret they had to share. Well, that's just between you and I. He's digging into our past, our dark and embarrassing past. I don't know. Well, here's chapter 2. And pretentious, it was, to be honest, it was a little pretentious. Only because there's a lot of, like, adjectives, I guess. A lot of, like, adjectives describing about what's happening. Usually a good story, at least in my opinion, you want to just show. You want to just show, make an imagery with your writing, rather than just tell me through adjectives or whatever of what's going on. I don't know, maybe I'm not making any sense. Anyway, I see. So foretold the tales that once upon a time, there was a wolf out of the past of memory who wanted to reach the sun. Along the path he traveled, the wolf wanted to quench his thirst and fatigue by a stream. There he came across a brightly colored snake whose scales resembled a rainbow. The chatterbox reptile initiated conversation, ignoring the differences between reptiles and mammals. The wolf considered that she might be an illusion, for how could it be possible for anyone to have such boundless energy under the intense sun? An idea came to the wolf's mind before he could find an answer to his question. Could it be that the snake knew how to reach the sun? He had nothing to lose, and so the snake said the following. Reaching the sun? Are you not already hot enough? You seem so distant and reserved. In truth, that was the last thing I would have expected to hear from you, but listening to you makes me happy. The snake chuckled, making the wolf regret ever asking a question in the first place. My name, however, is Icy, as I am cold-blooded, but I don't look warm in your eyes. I'm good at keeping company, said the reptile as she coiled around the wolf's legs. And what's your name? Are you cold or hot? I'm just a wolf, he answered, and that's what you can call me if you wish. The multicolored snake peered across the landscape with her gaze, upset with such a dull answer. Too cold for a warm-blooded animal you are, though they do say that opposites attract. The long reptile wrapped herself around the wolf, hissing with her tongue, and the mammal, made nervous by such behavior, asked Icy to keep it short. Ah yes, the sun. From where I come, the desert, the sun is relentless. If you want to wish, or if what you wish is to find it, then it should probably be around here. The closer you are, the hotter it gets, don't you think? That's how I feel as I touch your skin. The wolf started to feel awkward and worried. He knew about poisonous snakes and was scared of falling victim to such games, so he decided to excuse himself as quickly as he possibly could. So soon? You can see the sun any time, but we may never meet again. Icy fell back to the ground, slightly depressed. Also, I'm not so sure that you will be able to find it. Don't you think that it's too much for someone of your species? The wolf ignored the snake in her endless chatter. He said goodbye, thankful for her help, and left as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Icy was upset for having to bid farewell to a newly acquired friend so soon. The sun of the desert was big, huge, colossal. The sand would burn and slip through his fur, his throat was dry, and his strength was draining from him from each passing step. Despite all of that, he continued on, dune after dune, searching for a place where the sun might be a little closer to him. Such a pity that the pattern would only repeat infinitely. Each achievement would only give the same prize. The only difference was how the sun would become more ruthless. What did he do to deserve that? Why that punishment? Something so cruel couldn't possibly bring any joy. The wolf fell to the ground, weakened and defeated. The sand started to cover him little by little, and he thought that he had died there, buried until eventually melting away on that very spot. The snake was right. He was a warm-blooded animal, so that's why he lost before it ever began. And now he could only close his eyes and give up. Later on, however, he woke up when he felt a breeze that was different from the others. It was cold. The wolf opened his eyes and realized that night had come. Nights in the desert were cold, contrary to the days. He looked towards the sky, and there once again was the moon, bringing to him a present that his plentiful fur needed and saving his life. Now he could only smile, happy for the company that the moon was offering him. What could he do in return for her, he wondered. So he gathered air in his lungs, raised his head, determined, and a resounding howl covered the sea and the skies with profound gratitude. Awoo! So foretold the tales that once upon a time there was a wolf without a past or memory who wanted to reach the sun. And I'm wondering, the snake, a smug snake maybe? Someone, or based on someone who is equally smug? Though I guess, well, the snake character wasn't really all that smug. It's just that there's the trope that a snake is smug, I guess. The smug snake. I don't know. Anyway. Getting out on the wrong side of bed. It's an expression used to justify it when you act grumpy after waking up, even if there's no real proof to back up its legitimacy. People were quite superstitious in the past when it came to customs, so blaming getting out on the wrong side of the bed as being the source of your problems was normal. Even something simple like having a cloudy day like today would be considered an ill omen. I actually never thought about that, getting out of the wrong side of the bed. I always thought it was in the sense of just being grumpy in general, but actually getting out on the wrong side of the bed might be literally like you wake up on the left or right. So I never thought about that as in like literal direction. I don't know. Nowadays, nobody really takes those customs seriously, but it doesn't change the fact that you can still use them when you get the feeling that nothing will go as expected. Truth is, I don't know from which side of the bed I got out this morning, left, right, or I just rolled off wrapped in the sheets, which happens more often than it should. Well, actually, I remember actually falling off of bed once, but it's only happened once, I think. I don't know. Anyway. But in this place, I got something even worse. A call from Oz asking if I could visit him and let him copy my notes from school. It seems like he copied the wrong ones last time. Do I think that something like that is considered an ill omen? Of course not. I know it is. The first sign that validates my suspicion appears even earlier than expected. Over this past week, I've had coincidental meetings pretty much every single day with a certain short but loudmouth girl named Claire. I don't even know how she manages to magically appear every time. In any case, all I know is that it's impossible for me to try and figure out her real intentions. Okay, now you have to tell me something. What was the meaning of those emails? All of them were cryptic sounding. Why was that? You offend me, Karen. Now I must ask for a slushie to compensate for such a despicable attack. You've already got ice cream for the same reason. Stop trying to spend all of my money. It's not a real date if the man doesn't pay. Can't you understand something so simple? So this is a date and I didn't even realize it. Can you please stop complicating things and give me an answer? What do you think? Don't answer with a question. Well, I won't deny that I was trying to make them sound mystical and intriguing. That's it, more or less. Now my slushie, please. You're impossible. No, I'm not gonna treat you to anything, no matter how offended you pretend to be. But I do know a good place for slushies, so we can go there if you want. Deep, like really deep down, you're a good person, right, Kieran? Everything else is a facade. I'm done. No slushie for you. It was a compliment. Don't get mad. Boo. You must be the only person in the world who gets angry when they're praised. Very tsundere. Remembering our past encounters, I opened the front gate, wondering when and where Claire will appear in front of me today. Okay. I guess that was a flashback. I guess that transition was what that meant. Spot on. Of course, my answer is in front of me already. There you are, Kieran. I've been waiting for you. I was starting to think you'll never leave. You was waiting there the entire time? Hi, Claire. One quick question before I suffer from an embolism. Can you tell me what the hell you're doing at my house? Well, I wanted to see you. What else could it be? You're such a dummy. A baka. Every new question you ask me is stupider than the last. Normal people usually ring the doorbell instead of waiting in front of the house that they weren't invited to visit. That, and considering your track record, well... Are you by any chance climbing up nearby trees to spy on me with a pair of binoculars or anything? Don't be ridiculous. Trees are too tall, and it's dangerous. You talk as if you already tried it. Well then, are you gonna stand there all day? Let's go. You don't even know where I'm going. And since when has that mattered? She turns around, holding her hat so it doesn't fall off, cheerful as if everything in the world could only get better. Who knows? Sometimes I think I should get far away from Claire as possible, but when I see her like this, I think that maybe it's actually possible to get out on the right side of bed. Even if she has binoculars, it's not like she knows which window is one for my room, so it wouldn't be such an issue. Of course I know, it's the upper right one. I look at Claire. I look back to my house and confirm that it is indeed my window. Then I look back at Claire. I lose my shit. How do you know that? Listen to me, this is important, god damn it. I get no response. We're as distant now as in all of our previous encounters. Instead, she manages to change the topic to the usual incoherent chatter that's typical of her. And finally, after passing through the old part of town and testing my patience, we reach our destination in a shorter walk than I actually expected. Ours lives near the town border. It's a place full of chalets that some time ago were occupied by a lot of retirees due to the abundant golf courses and good weather. When I ring the doorbell, no butler comes to greet me. Far from it, it's Oz who, with a nervous voice, invites me over the telecom device to enter since the door is apparently already open. Despite being wealthy, Oz's family doesn't indulge in much beyond what you can see at first sight. It's not like they need to anyways, considering the short amount of time they usually spend in one single place. Even the interior feels empty when I enter. It's filled with darkness and silence. It's nothing compared to the noise you usually hear at my house. Press any switch in my house and you'll find the exact disorder and chaos one would expect from a home filled with teenage girls. Here, however, as soon as I turn on the lights... Surprise! God damn it. What? I take it back. Yes, today's my birthday. How great, you have friends who celebrate your birthday. Amazing. It was actually a couple of days ago, but I guess it makes sense to push the party back to the weekend to celebrate it instead. In general, my birthdays usually have a more familial and reserved atmosphere, something modest and tight-knit. I don't enjoy bombastic parties full of people. Same. In that sense, I guess they got it right. The only people here are the committee members, and I don't see any balloons or decorations anywhere. That doesn't change the fact that all of this is unexpected and unbelievable to me. When was the last time that I had a party like this? It almost feels nostalgic, if that's the correct word. Who's taking so long yesterday and not telling me who's taking so long yesterday and not telling me what she was doing? It seems to me that she was probably organizing this party with the others. After finding out my birthday, Luz talked to us and the others from the committee, Luz talked to us and the others from the committee, and they decided to plan this party. Knowing her, she probably only wanted to know more about the reason I had to repeat a grade, but every coin has two faces, I suppose. And of course, Ziva's the mastermind behind everything she gets involved with, undoubtedly becoming the main planner of this event. Claire's role was to ensure that I came to Oz's house as planned, otherwise having to come up with a plan if I decide to resist. And finally, Denise. Even though the last time we met was during the committee's meeting, he came here despite nobody really expecting him to, since he's the kind of person who prefers to stay still and be quiet as much as possible. The main theory I have is that he came here for the free food. Watching him as he pigs out, it's a surefire bet. I'd come for the food. In less than seconds, the celebration begins and it gains the same harmony, or maybe even more, than we had during the first committee meeting only 1 week ago. In high spirits, the host and homeowner decide to take the reins and ask for everyone to quiet down so that he can announce something. Let's take care of what really matters. Let's start with the first surprise of the day. Oz goes over to one of the doors leading to the garden that was hidden behind the curtain before continuing his speech. We all know that Karen isn't very fond of big parties with lots of people or noisy music. However, all of you can probably agree that there's something that everyone enjoys during this time of the year. And you know what I'm talking about because summer is almost here. It'll be sinful not to make most of these couple of months and shut yourself within the walls of your house, don't you think? Oz prepares himself to open the curtains with a bang. Especially when you're having something as wonderful as a pool party. Rain. Oh, well. There goes the pool party. Oz opens the curtains, revealing a most unexpected storm. It wasn't even raining when I got here, but it seems the universe hates our hosts and all of our paraphernalia yet sitting out in his garden right now. We're in the middle of one of those summer storms that always come a couple of months before its seasons. I've been waiting for this moment for so long, watching the days pass by, awaiting this occasion. It wasn't supposed to rain today. This week, yes, but not today. I made sure of it. Oh well. That explains why you were so attentive this whole time. Don't worry, it's a thought that counts. I appreciate you wanting to do this for me. Summer is when even the worst perverts can become human beings. When swimsuits are the perfect excuse for women everywhere to show off their assets. When definitely the world in general becomes a better place. Sorry, now I get it. I don't know why I ever believed that you had good intentions. You know, Oz reminds me of, what was it? Yosuke? Yosuke from Persona 4, I believe. I hated Yosuke. Because of this very same reason. Just getting girls in swimsuits. It's like, isn't that creepy though? To admit that? I don't know. Whatever. It's like, you don't get it. Breasts, compañero. Breasts is in fan service. But it's all in vain. Destroyed by a storm. My perfect dream world will never be realized, and my forsaken soul must pass on to the afterlife. And that's how Oz dies, leaving his motionless body on the carpet. Well, rest in peace. Now, you could have tried to hide your plan before dying, you dumbass. All the girls can hear you. Don't worry. We already knew about Oz's true plan. He gave us calls to make sure that we'd bring our swimsuits along, and by then he was already switching out other words for breasts and boobs. He's a lost cause. And I wasn't just imagining it. With me, he kept asking to see my ID like every 2 seconds for some reason. Seriously? I don't get it. He didn't mention boobs or anything like that to me. What's wrong? Why are y'all looking at me like that? Leaving aside Luce's sudden spurt of innocence, everyone's eyes return to our host. He manages to revive himself, giving meaning to the phrase, "a bad penny always turns up," and the first thing he does is take me hostage to take about his treacherous plan. Compañero! We came here to see lots of boobs, and that's what we're gonna do. Never give up. Speak for yourself. I came here to lend you my notes. By the way, don't you want them? I have them with me. Forget the notes. Your handwriting sucks and I can't read it anyways. I've come up with the perfect way to give you the ideal party and for me to see boobs at the same time. We can combine the two for a second special surprise. Boobs, boobs, boobs. Always the boobs with you, Oz. Can't you think about other things? Second surprise? What are you planning? Why does it sound terrible? You won't say that after you discover what it is. Alice calls for everyone's attention and they respond with hesitant gazes. Please, listen to me. The first pool event has been cancelled for reasons out of my control. However, and I think everyone will agree with this, it would be a pity not to show off your swimsuits after bringing them all the way here. I don't really mind. It's not like I feel the urge to show off my body like this is some kind of human exhibition or something. Yeah, who cares? We'll have the entire summer to go to the pool again later. The important thing now is to have fun. Doing anything with a swimsuit except swimming is stupid. I'll never understand people who go to the beach or pools and don't even touch the water. Stop talking as if you're all fatties. Every hot girl is legally obliged to show off her hot bod. So we're gonna play a game instead. In particular, it's the favorite game of the birthday boy here. You won't deny Kira had some fun after he came all the way to his party, right? The atmosphere in the group declines, since nothing good can come from a perverted mind, but being my favorite game and not Oss's, it might not be so bad. Then, why am I still getting chills running down my spine? Everyone already knows about Karen's betting and gambling issues, am I right? Hey, they aren't that big of a problem. Never get into gacha games, Kieran. It wouldn't be healthy to bet money with him being here, and this game has a perfect variation so that all of us can win. Everyone in the room exchanges odd looks, already getting a good idea of what Osis is probably planning. Then our host takes us next to a large folding screen, behind which he has been hiding the second event that we've been waiting for. Prepare your best surprise faces, because we're gonna play. He folds the large screen in, revealing a makeshift games room with a large poker table as the main attraction. We all stand still with our jaws on the floor, and Oz takes the opportunity to press a button, which starts playing thematic music to make it seem even more like a casino. We're transported to a small part of Las Vegas in a split second without any of us noticing. I was expecting something bad, but this is nice, Oz. I was pretty scared when you said you had everything under control. Poker? Is this your favorite game? I was expecting something else, but I guess it suits you. Yes, I can totally imagine a ruined Karen, super in debt and in some illegal gambling basement, playing poker with some slumlords. Until one day the mafia shoots him for not paying them back. Now that would be a great ending for him. You've just described my ideal death, miss. But that's not the reason I like poker. Now, money isn't important. It's the bet itself and the power it conveys. That's why I like it. Speaking of money, you aren't thinking of going bankrupt because of this party, right, Oz? How are you gonna distribute the chips? Chips, compañero? Have you gone deaf? No, we aren't betting any money. Far from it, in fact. We're playing with something much more valuable, with that which covers my dreams each night. I can probably guess. I'm guessing you aren't talking about your sheets. Exactly. This isn't normal poker. Instead, we're playing strip poker. The music keeps playing, but no one is able to hear it after listening to what the host has just announced. I knew that us calling me could only be an ill omen. Is everyone gonna go along with it? Because I doubt it. My turn. Well, Denise picks up the cards that I dealt him, still confused that he doesn't know how to play. Even though it's a 5-card draw, generally considered the easiest to learn poker variant, the guy is still insecure about playing the game, and he lazily examines the numbers multiple times. I guess, well, poker can be daunting, I guess. You know, for a beginner, it's probably easier to have like a chart, a visual chart, you know, so you should know all the, so you know all the combinations and all that. Anyway, look, I don't know. I don't play poker. I stick, fold, or whatever the fold is. This is too complicated. Yep, Oz somehow manages to convince all of us to play. But there's nothing to be afraid. Although this is strip poker, we won't end up completely naked. The losers have to just change into their swimsuits. I'm happy. In a way, poker is nothing without a bet that makes it worthwhile. Truthfully enough, I never have thought that the group would agree to something so brazen, at least without getting drunk or high first. Diz, man, you're so close to getting hit and sunk. You want to take a dip that badly? I consider myself a great swimmer, but no, thank you. I really can't handle all these combinations, bets, rounds, and who knows what else. I'm a man of the arts, not sciences. And like every artist, you'll end up in ruins while I take the jackpot. I not only call, but I also raise with an all-in. Who among you is brave enough to follow me now? Luz, who's winning with the largest amount of chips, was the exact person who proposed a special rule before playing. The loser will not only change into their swimsuit, but will also have to go out in the middle of a storm and take a dip in the pool. For now, it seems like it's working out for her. Are you gonna get sick? At least, well, you know, people always say that it's not the rain itself that makes you sick, but, well, it indirectly makes you sick, right? Because you get really cold, and when you're wet, you get, like, your temperature goes way down, you know, especially, you know, in, like, cold rain, basically, you know? And when you don't dry up quickly, your body works overtime to keep you warm, and that compromises your immune system, and therefore you get sick. So yeah, at least that's what as far as I know, that's how it works. You know, I'm not a doctor, but I think that's how it works. You want to leave us in ruins, Luz? I have good cards, but I like to play, but I don't know what to do. And Claire also doesn't know what to do. It would be sure be a pity to leave the game going like this. I interrupt the girls' conversation. Or actually, was Claire speaking to Luz's play rather than not knowing how to play the game? She's just saying that she doesn't know what to do in terms of Luz putting a large bet or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I interrupt the girls' conversation, who then intently turn towards me. Well, the first one to lose will be the one who receives the worst punishment, so nobody really wants to chance it. The three of you are banded together because you prefer it's one of the guys who loses first. You haven't even tried to play when the others have a good hand. It's a shame because there's a lot of good hands you haven't played, and it's annoying not to play when you finally get the cards that you wanted. What are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to convince us to play against each other? I shrug, trying not to divulge any more information.